Sunday morning, what it is, Father Moo on the microphone, dropping a little reduction sequence on you. That's right, it's back to the same old grindstone, Father Moo making a patch from scratch, baby. That's what it's all about. Usually I do 2 or 3 streams in a row and then upload them over a period of time. Today I just had one idea, and I'm just going to do one stream and drop this on you, and then it's the weekend, and I got to take 5. Do you know Father Moo has a vacation coming up? That's right. In this month, there will be a week where I leave my current location and go back to the old hometown, Uru. So that should be a nice little break for me. Will the stream go quiet for a week? I don't know. If I can build up some videos beforehand, great. If I can't, it's too bad, I guess. But I'll do some filming while I'm on the break. I got some ideas in mind. Let me just drop the idea on you first for what we're going to do today before I do it. So I was listening to a really cool ambient track. I think this track was Tetsu Inoue and Pete Namlook, both geniuses. And, their music is super ambient, and I think there's like 2 tracks on the whole album, and each one is 30 minutes long. So I listened to track 2. And the first, 6 to 10 minutes is just a pad sound. And the pad is constantly evolving and changing, but it's a pad. And I was like, man, if I was recording that same track, I'd have to sit with my hand on the keyboard for 6 minutes. I would be cramping up. It would be tiring. And then I realized, what if I didn't do that? What if I built a Nord Modular patch that could play that multi-note chord for me? And its fingers could hold down the keys, virtually speaking. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. I'm going to have to be a little bit careful with my resources because I'm going to see if I can get 7 or 8 voices in there. But let's do that. At first, I had thought of using the this oscillator, which is the oscillator sine bank, which is 6 sine waves in one. But I don't think sine wave is going to do the job for this particular pad. So I think we're going to have to do it as a whole bunch of individual oscillators, each tuned to its own note, and each going through its own envelope. So let's just, let's start that now. So, oscillators. Should I make them all first? Let's see how this goes. Wow, it's not going to work if they're all oscillator B or spectral informant. We're going to run out of power too quickly. And we could do the master and slave thing. Maybe we'll do that. Let's try that. Let's try that to start. So let's try master oscillator. This one will probably have 3 slaves. The cheaper, the better. Sine wave sine wave can be one of them. These are going to do the roots of the chord. In other words, they're all going to be the drone on the main note of the chord. So that means they're going to be bass related. And that also means if you use a sine wave, it doesn't need to be, it can just be basically a pure sine wave. That's what I'm trying to say here. So there's a nice low oscillator. Let's get let's try to go cheap here. What does C and D give me? That one gives me a saw. And that one gives me a triangle. Well, that's as good as anything. So I think I'm going to let the triangle be the down 1 octave, and I'm going to let the saw be the main root. I think I could even, should I go for a 4th here? What's cheap? I'm going to try being a cheapo and doing it with a sine wave. So that means this guy can go back to actually being plus 12, this triangle. Maybe it should be this guy. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so our main root will be the triangle. The sawtooths will get, the sine waves get to be the lower octaves, and the highest pitch one will be a saw, because that makes harmonic sense. The lower you go, the less overtones becomes, the less, it matters less. So let's hook these all up here. And we're going to build our chord on C today. So let's tune this guy down to C, and they will all follow him. I think I want him on C3. Yeah. And a couple of other ones. So we've got our saw triangle here. Let's try and get a couple of interesting oscillators on the board. There's one spectral, and there's one formant. Those are interesting enough. And let's get a oscillator type B on the board. And that will probably be a pulse width with modulation. So our chord is C. You know what? There should probably be not an octave down, but a 5th down. There we go. Yeah, the rest of them can stay the same. Maybe this one should be a 5th up. So that means we have C and G being played by the master bank. And what other notes do we want? Well, we want A. We want a high A for the 6th. So my root is C3, and this one is a 5th up from there. So I think C5, yeah. This one might be too high, but we'll tune it down later if we have to. And this one, we want an open 9th. And this one, we're going to have a lovely E, which is what it's already tuned to. But let's give him an octave. Octave up. So this D5 and this E5 are a little close together. I think I'm going to go up to D6. So this is a chord Father Moo loves to use. It's an open C major chord, and we've added an open 6th and an open 9th. That's the A and the D. I use these, well, all the time in my various sound creation stuff. For major key new age music, it's ideal. So let's look at what we've burned through. Wow, we're at 50% of resources already. Okay. I got some tricks up my sleeve, which I think I'm going to start using now. So, first of all, let's see here. Let's assign some filters here. Again, I'm going to try and go cheap. Multi-mode is going to be a great option. 2 multi-modes, and I'm going to give a classic low-pass filter to the square wave. So these 2 weird oscillators will each get a... They might be in bandpass mode. They might be in high pass. Oh, I might even use multiple outputs. That would be neat. Cool. One of the tricks here today is to, in order to save processing power, I may actually have to send the oscillators into their amplifiers and then into their filters last in the chain before they hit the output mixer. So let's try wiring up some of that now. I have a feeling this is maybe tough for people to visualize. I've put a lot of I've built a lot of this in my head without connecting any wires yet, so I guess if you can't hear it, it may not make a lot of sense. Well, there's the 7 ADSRs for the 7 envelopes. So why don't I start patching them up and maybe we can actually hear something. And to trigger them, we're probably going to build a lot of this off of a random pulse generator. So we'll turn his speed down a bit, but we'll start now. So here's the root note. Since the root is a triangle, he's going to need some kind of filter. I don't know if I'm going to stick with this plan long term, but I'm going to give him a static low-pass filter for now, mainly because it's cheap. So he goes from the filter into his envelope and into the mixer, and there he is. Turn the speed of this down a bit. So we should get some. There it is. Okay, so that was a pretty easy one to wire up. Let's keep going with. We have the 2 sine waves, and as I said, the sine waves aren't going to get. Ooh, maybe I could do a little bit of wave wrapping. I was almost going to send the sine waves in pure, but a wave wrapper is cheap enough, so. For the 5th, I'm going to feed him to a wave wrapper. Then I'm going to feed him to an envelope, and then into the board. I think random pulse generator is 0.32%. That's pretty cheap. I think I can keep going with those for a bit. So I said about the holding the keys down on the keyboard. That's what the random pulse generators are doing. They're triggering the notes. There we go. That was nice. But I want them to sound less like they're being triggered and more like they're being faded in. That's why they've got these long attacks here. And they've got nice smooth releases so they don't die off too quickly either. Am I doing for LFO? Let's try sending this LFO to the wave wrapper. He's moving too quickly, so let's slow him down. So these are the emergent root notes of my chord. Here's my lowest note, the sine wave, down 2 octaves. So he's not going to go through any filter. He's just going to be a pure sine wave arriving in the envelope. Let's trigger that. Wow, in my headphones he's extremely low. Let's try going up an octave to -12. There he is, you hear him? It's funny actually, the wave wrapper is making the 5th stick out quite a bit just because it's that aggressive tone. Let's start him a little bit. There we go. Fading in now. I said I wanted to cheat by sending multiple oscillators through the same filters. I don't really see how I can do that with this note, so I'm going to go onto the notes that I have and drop this one in. And for now, let's go with bandpass. Yep. CPU usage is still in a reasonable amount, so I think I'm still good here. Okay, that's the high note. It's not sounding great right now. Let me fix that a bit. It's the high A. Just making a random generator to give some LFO to that note. It would sound nicer as a G. I feel like I'm missing something with this chord. Maybe it's because I haven't patched the sawtooth here yet. So let's just use up a bit of our resources, give him a good filter, stick him in an envelope and keep going. The spectral shape. What if we save a bit of processing power by making a third LFO out of both of these? And run one in inverse. And plug that into timbre of this guy. On to another voice. The A is still sticking out a bit, but maybe it'll get there, so let's just keep on building. Oops, no, this one is supposed to go here. There we go. It's also a bandpass filter. Dial up the attack and the release. Dial down the sustain. So we're doing with all of them. Yeah, I was going to use a delay, but a delay actually costs more than a generator by itself. So I'm just going to keep on generating them. It just makes more sense that way. Oh, that's the timbre being switched. It sounds like Beatles. So I know what I need for that instead. What I need is a random step generator running really slow. There it is. Nice. Here's the last planned note in the chord. I admit this is still sounding a bit far away from where I was hoping it would sound. This is the third. We do have a bit of processing power left to play with, so that's good, but the chord isn't really there yet. One thing I'm thinking of is switching these band passes to low passes. See if they give me some love there. Turn the A and the D down a bit in the mixer. That third sounds nice, although you can just barely hear them right now. think it's just the tuning of the notes which is hurting the chord. So now they're just a normal major chord. Okay, so we very much built the instrument we were trying to build. The question is it playing music in the nice and listenable way that I hoped is not really a yes. I think I'm going to kill this wave wrapper for one thing. And just patch him back to, where is his? There it is, right there. Let him just be a sine wave. I guess what I'm criticizing myself for here is not the overall structure, it's just maybe the oscillator choice for some of the notes was too unconventional, maybe? But I'm running out of extra notes to play, although I think I can get an 8th voice in there, so I took the 2 weird oscs from the 2 odd notes, A and D, down to G and E, so they're smooth again. Let's see if we can sneak in. There's another square wave. Let's give him a filter. Try to keep it cheap. And we're at 97%. We can get another ADSR in there. Wow, we're now at 99.2. Impressive. And that will still let me buy another. You see, there's all 8 voices. It will still let me buy another trigger switch here. Oh, what? It didn't let me buy one. That's funny. It says I have 0.8% left, and a random pulse gen is only 0.32. So it should be at 99.5. Oh, there we go. 99.5. Maybe I duplicated something else as well. That's my fault. He's a very boring sawtooth right now. To give him the long AR and a little bit less S. It's quite quiet in the mix. Maybe the filter is cutting him off. So now he's a 6th. He's triggering too quickly as well. Okay, so the rest is really just tweaking here. Kind of an unusual build for me, but I like it. I wasn't expecting to use 8 random pulse generators, but they're just so cheap that I had to. And I guess I've turned the yellow cables off, did I? So I could see what I couldn't see my notes here. It's like the notes on each oscillator. Why is that playing such a long note? Well, maybe he's too slow, I get it. He has to be able to turn off as well. Which one is connected to? So, yeah, anyway. Okay, so 8 ADSRs. We ended up with 6 filters because 2 are sine waves and don't have any filters. And we have 8 oscillator voices, 4 of them slave to a master and 4 of them by themselves. And yeah, it's quite an interesting... I have 2 E's playing now, so maybe this oscillator can do the D in my chord. up these filters a little bit, make sure they're allowing their notes to get through. Since I can't make any more modules, I'm going to just recycle some CV outputs to send some random data to this filter, for example. Maybe we should get a little bit extra CV in these inputs. Let's hook it up and see what happens. Should just make things more unpredictable, really. Yeah, it's sounding good. One key thing I'm sort of not hearing is maybe because they didn't all trigger at the same time, they don't really have the feeling of a chord. They have a feeling of 8 different notes. So without ruining too much, you know what, let's go ahead and just save this. I'm going to save it here. 73. I'm just going to call it 8 Vox Pad because it has 8 voices. Kind of a boring name, but I can live with it. So what I was just thinking to myself was, what if I just remove every random pulse generator except one and trigger all the envelopes on the exact same one? Now, the envelopes all have their own settings, so the notes will still fade in and out at slightly different times, but they'll all be triggered at the same time. So let's try that. Great thing about Modular, you can always just try it. If it sounds like crap, you just untry it. Okay, go. It's good. It needs a bit more of a... the release needs to come up so that the chord holds longer after it stops playing. That's actually a lot closer to what I was hoping for. I think one of the issues might be is that the modulations are too fast. So I'm going to just dial all my CVs down a bit here in speed. It's the other good thing about organizing the patch this way. When I want to adjust all 4 CVs, they're all in one place right here. That's actually better. Yeah, that sounds better, damn it. Good job. That's cool. And of course, in this case, if I'm really not using any of these guys, I could delete them all and get a little processing power back. I'm just going to save this as... I kind of want to... Yeah. It doesn't really warrant another number for my patch system, but I'm just going to call it... I just add a B at the end, because it's quite a significant variation. And I think I'm going to save V into the synth today because I have a feeling I'm more likely to use it. What I need to, I'm sitting here realizing now, I need to figure out a way how to push down the keys on the keyboard and then just not let them back up again. I'm not sure if the Nord modular will let me do that, but that's what I'd like to do. So yeah, this is our 8 voice pad for today. Did I achieve 100% of my goal? Not exactly, but it's probably due to my own laziness, or if I just sat here and tweaked it longer, I'd probably get closer. I might have even done better by getting each voice right as I was doing it rather than dropping all the modules in. But it's a good proof of concept for the idea, even if it's not perfectly executed. In other words, it's an idea I'm going to probably have to come back to another day. But that's about it for this sermon. So I'd like to thank everyone again for tuning in regularly and adding their comments. I hope the Dungeon Synth stuff is going down well. Trying to just keep more variety in the channel and also keep more live performance stuff in the channel where you see me just doing it in real time, like we did it in real time on the screen here. But of course, today we had an editor to do it in, and other stuff I'm gonna have to be filming with actual cameras. So yeah. Anyway, it's been good times. Support Father Moo on the Patreon if you'd like to. There's a link in the description, and you can also go and download the wave files from the album that we're producing if you want to do a little remix work of your own. Those are also in the description of the channel. If you click on About, you'll be able to find the links there. Anyway, have a good Sunday. This has been Father Moo. Appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Peace.